So I was honored with that request. I was happy to volunteer my services for that, although they were minuscule compared to all the effort that went in for the months before and the efforts, the physical efforts to come. Also, I was aware, but made more aware, that it's not just military that is being honored by such a display or remembered by such a display, but there were citizens from almost every nation of the world whose lives were also taken and their voices silenced. So there is a connection to us ordinary folk, not just the military, and that's very important. So you have before you the draft of what is called a historical artifact loan agreement. Very simply put, it states that the village will permit the display to be located at the, I call it the police department's front lawn near their entry driveway there. So someone had raised some security issues, so it's going to be right in front of the police department. So that's clarified. What also was clarified, I did check the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York records, and I cited the case number in the agreement, wherein the inventory of these artifacts to be distributed through the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey is listed, and the number that is inscribed, I think it's chalked in, I don't know, Ralph, right? Paint, it's painted on there, but that number matches one of the inventory items in the court order for authentication purposes. It just, I'm a lawyer, I had to do it. So that's authenticated as a piece of the World Trade Center. Number three, of course, the cost issue comes up, and since I got into this a little late in the game with the meetings, that's why they were able to conclude this. They didn't have a lawyer there at every meeting. But I asked the mayor, and he said there's to be no cost to the village. That is expressed in here. The village can act as a conduit if financial contributions are made. The village can set up an account, and that account can be used for maintenance purposes going forward, or the village can use its good offices to talk to the garden clubs or the veterans organizations or any other organization that may want to perform maintenance along the way. But the agreement does state that the owner of the artifact and the village will agree to bear the cost of maintenance, but that cost can only be paid through donated resources. So no obligation is incurred financially on that. I'll get to the last item, which I think is most significant, and that is an option. That's what lawyers call it. It's an option to receive ownership of the artifact in the event that the current owner, Jeffrey C. Morris, private Jeffrey C. Morris Memorial Foundation, Heroes of Freedom, if that ownership interest does not wish to own it anymore, or is thinking about giving it to someone else, we have an agreement that the village will get a first option, have 30 days to exercise that option. Likelihood is such that it's there. It's what did you say, 20 tons, Ralph? Or
it's 6 tons, 12%.
6 tons. So it's not going to move easily, and hopefully it will become part of the fabric of the community going forward. And if that opportunity arises, do it. But we have it locked down for 20 years from September 11th. Other than that, the display, the obligation is to display it in a dignified, respectful way, fitting of a memorial of such a catastrophic and tragic event. That's required. You're beginning to see the manifestations of the design here. more than manifestations, so pretty close to what is being proposed as a final design. There was a question asked, I think it was by one of the trustees, if you're being asked to approve the design. The document you have before you, if you approve that document, it does make reference to the design of Engineer Schmidt bearing today's date. So I want to make sure it's clear that if you approve this agreement, you're approving that design, because it's an attachment. You shouldn't approve this agreement unless you approve a design along with it, because you know what you get, you know, if that's acceptable. But again, that's your decision. I think that that covers the majority of the terms of this agreement, although it's 4 pages. Yeah, the real estate is identified by PIN numbers, so we know where it's gonna go. Permits, probably, if permits were necessary, if some electrical or something was gonna be done there, you'd probably be asked to waive permit fees. Okay, well, I think okay, well, it will be. What date do you have on the plans? Today?
Should be, that was today, that was March 3rd.
Okay, okay. That's a
Should be March 3rd.
little correction from the 2nd to 3rd in the agreement, which is proper.